It sucked what Metallica did to them. It sucked what Beavis and Butthead did to them. This is the album that broke Motley Crue in America. It changed my life. One of the reasons I started this channel was to promote bands like this. She's not bad to look at, right? You know what? Life is gonna kick you in the ass, and it kicked mine more than a few times. It's vain. Fuck. Music is my life. Everything else is a hobby. Shit, am I upside down? Look, I came here to do two things. Chew bubblegum and talk hair metal. And it looks like I'm almost out of bubblegum. Welcome to the Hair Metal Guru. My name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. And today, we're going to show you some new stuff that I framed. And hopefully, well, the majority of it's going to be hair metal stuff. So for those of you who don't know, I do a little side business outside of my house, outside of the House of Hair. I sell all this stuff that is hanging in the house. And if you follow me on X at Hair Metal Guru, or if you've seen some of my past videos, I've shown you a lot of things that I've framed up. It's not all hair metal because, you know, not everybody in Fargo, North Dakota wants to buy just hair metal shit, unfortunately. So I frame a little bit of everything, but lately I've been flipping through a lot of old Billboard magazines, a lot of Kerrangs and things, and trying to find more just hair metal, more 80s rock, more metal stuff that I think people who watch this channel would be interested in. So I've been on a framing fucking kick lately. So let's look at some of the new things that I've framed. I'm not sure if I'm going to go through everything because I bet in the last week and a half, I'd probably framed 60 or 70 things. So if you're interested in any of this stuff, so I have looked into like shipping. These are glass frames. It costs a ton to ship glass frames. So people have messaged me and expressed an interest in buying. I have actually had followers come to Fargo when I've opened up the House of Hair and looked around and purchased stuff. But anyway, this is not to make money. This is more just to show people something that hopefully you'll be interested in. So with that, let's look at item number one. These are all in 10 by 13 inch frames. So this is a 1989 frame for the Pretty Boy Floyd album Leather Boys with Electric Toys. Feel free to stop it if you want to look at anything. I know there's some glare, but with glass frames, there's not much you can do about it. It says, "Rebellion, innocence, and teenage thrills. The voice of a new generation is here. The outrageous debut album spearheading the shock rock revival of the 90s. I love this album. I think Pretty Boy Floyd may have been kind of a studio creation, no offense. Because I've seen some old live clips and it's kind of rough. But anyway, this is a super poppy, hard rock, definitely, this is as hair metal as it gets album. They had some great ballads, some slower tempo stuff, some great rock stuff. Rock and Roll Is Gonna Set the Night on Fire is phenomenal. So I really love this album, Pretty Boy Floyd. Coming up next is, and a lot of the things that I won't say, a lot of these things come from Kerrang magazine from Great Britain. Some of them come from American magazines like Circus, Hit Parade, or maybe even Metal Edge. But I know this came from a Kerrang because this is an ad for the Poison single for Nothing But a Good Time off the album Open Up and Say Ah. And you only got ads like this for singles from Kerrang. You never got stuff like that in Hit Parade or Circus. So that's one reason that I love Kerrang. You got a lot more original stuff in your magazines, and Kerrang is like, man, it's I never had it back when I was growing up. I didn't discover it until years later, and then I started collecting it. Man, what an awesome magazine. So some Poison there for you. Coming up next, I just interviewed Miljenko Matejevich. Hopefully I pronounced his last name right. But here's a frame for the Steelheart follow-up to their gold debut, Tangled in Rains. Came out in 1992, so it obviously didn't do very well. It is a really solid album. They're kind of known for their ballads. I'll Never Let You Go was a huge hit. There's a great ballad on this album called Mama Don't You Cry. But Emelianenko, shoot, he's got to be 60, still looks good, still sings great. He's actually in a movie that just came out recently. So go check out my old interview with him. And so some old Steelheart Tangled and Reigns. Oh, up next, man, one of the reasons I started this channel was to promote bands like this. This is an ad for the Wild Side 1992 album, Under the Influence. Jeez, this thing, man, if this comes out in 1989, it's like the second coming of Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. Phenomenal rock songs. Hang On, Lucy, Aladdin, Sin. Great ballads, So Far Away, Kiss This Love Goodbye. Man, Drew Hanna, I think he goes by Drew Rose now. Great singer. Brent Woods, the lead guitar player, has played with Sebastian Bach. Vince Neil played with everybody. Man, I love this album. If you have not listened to Under the Influence by Wild Side, go check that shit out. Another band. By the way, I didn't look through these, so they've been sitting here for a while, so I don't know which ones are coming up next, but another band that I've really tried to promote. If you know Metal Sludge, you know Stevie Rochelle, and he was the singer of a band called Tough. Well, this is an ad for their 1991 album, What Comes Around Goes Around. Unfortunately, they released a ballad as their first single called I Hate Kissing You Goodbye. It's a really good ballad, but, they didn't go with a strong rock song like the All New Generation. The ballad did get to the top 5 on Dial MTV, but this is 1991, so Nirvana was right around the corner. Metallica was breaking big with the Black Album. So unfortunately, this album didn't do as well as I wish it would have. Stevie Rochelle has just re-released this thing on CD and vinyl, so you can go to Metal Sludge and you can check that out. But man, what a great album. Oh, coming up next, a band that is still out there kicking, maybe struggling a little bit. We've talked a little bit about Don Dokkens' vocal problems, but here's an ad for the 1987 Back for the Attack album. My personal favorite Dokken album is Under Lock and Key. This is right up there. This is, a band that was consistently going platinum, could never break into that double platinum. They never really got that headliner status. And with all the infighting with George Lynch and Don Dokken, it just seemed like they were doomed. And in 1990, everything fell apart. Don goes on and does Up From the Ashes. George goes on and does Lynch Mob. But anyway, for a while, they were a definite power band in the 80s hair metal genre. So Back for the Attack. Okay. It's Alice in Chains Facelift. If there is a grunge band that I actually kind of liked, it was Alice in Chains. And no, I did not really get into grunge. A lot of people say, oh, I liked grunge. Man, I didn't like most of it, but I liked some Alice in Chains songs. And actually, I framed this because there's a lot of people out there who like shit like this. And mainly I sell local in Fargo, but Alice in Chains for Facelift for their debut album. This is cool. I don't know what this came out of. I think it came out of like a Bay Area music BAM magazine, but this is for Poison, for encouraging people to call MTV and request their first single, Cry Tough. So this is right when Look What the Cat Dragged In came out. Now, obviously, Cry Tough, the first single, did not do well. But when a little-known song, well, not little-known, called Talk Dirty to Me came out a few months later, that fucking thing exploded, went triple platinum. So there's some early Poison for you. Kiss, Animalize. Man, we thought Kiss was, dying at the end of the 70s and the early 80s. They went pop and disco with Unmasked and Dynasty, then that shit show called The Elder. But then Creatures of the Night got them going on the right track. And then they finally got some really solid hits on Lick It Up with the song Lick It Up. That went platinum. And with Animalize, When Heaven's on Fire, was all over radio. So this is actually an ad signifying when Animalize went platinum. And my personal favorite unknown song from this album is Burn Bitch Burn. I don't know why people fucking don't like that song. Any song where Gene gets to talk about putting his log in a fireplace is probably gonna rock, okay? And next, people might be surprised, and then again, you might not be, to know that I really do love 80s Metallica. Now, this is my least favorite of the early Metallica albums. I love Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning, I love Kill 'Em All, and I really do like the Black Album. This was my least favorite, even though I like some stuff on it. But anyway, And Justice for All from 1988 had this, the first video that they put out for One, and it set the stage for the Black Album to make them the biggest band in the world, along with Guns N' Roses. So, And Justice for All. Here is an ad for Tesla's Psychotic Supper, their third album from 1991. Big hit. I love the song Call It What You Want. Song and Emotion, What You Give, Edison's Medicine were all on this. I don't know if this is my favorite ad, but man, it's a great album. And I'm going to be joining the Rock Resurgence Radio guys here to do a Tesla roundtable on their channel. I think that's going to be tomorrow night. Today is Wednesday, the 4th of September, so that'll be coming out on their channel here. What else do we got? Here's one for the Firehouse debut album. I still remember the first time I heard Don't Treat Me Bad, and I was like, holy shit. I loved that guitar riff. CJ Snare, rest in peace. Phenomenal singer, and I always loved that. And I think these guys did this for almost their whole career, and almost every show. After every show, they would go out and meet fans and sign shit and talk to people after every show. So, a band that is like willing to go out and do that and meet their fans and show their appreciation deserves your support. So I know Firehouse is going on with a new singer. I've not heard anything, but solid band, solid album. Ooh, one of my favorite bands of the hair metal genre, Britny Fox, with an ad for their debut album. Girls' School was the first, I think it was the first single. I could be wrong. It might have been the second single. But Girls' School was the first thing I remember hearing. Unbelievable guitar riff. So catchy, and that video was hilarious. This came out 88 and 89. They put out Boys in Heat. A fight happens with the band, and they end up breaking up, but then they come out in 1991 with the album Bite Down Hard with Tommy Paris on vocals. Maybe. I've said in the past that is my favorite Britny Fox album. They were just a super solid band, man. Very little filler on any of the stuff that they released. Speaking of rest in peace, Jack Russell. Here's an ad for Psycho City. I think this is 1991, right? From Great White. And I wasn't the biggest Great White fan back in the day. I liked the hits, but I wasn't rushing out to buy their shit. I always thought they were like more of a bluesy band. Most people know that's not my thing, but now I've been listening to them a lot more lately, and I'm kind of wrong. There is just a lot of straight ahead hard rock. So I need to listen to some of these later albums a little bit more. So I'll be honest, I'm not hugely familiar with Psycho City, but I know a lot of people that love this album. Oh, here comes a big one. We got Motley Crue's Shout at the Devil. And I think I know it's going to be hard for you to see, is either like stores that were putting it out. Maybe it's tour dates. It's kind of hard for me to read down here. But it says Every Mother's Nightmare, Motley Crue's new album, Shout at the Devil. This is the first album. And by the way, check out our Motley Crue roundtable that we just did recently. I won't tell you, but this was very high in my favorite Motley Crue albums. I love Too Fast for Love. I love all that 80s stuff, but this is the album that broke Motley Crue in America. So salute. Okay, there is no way I'm going through everything. So I'm going to go through one more stack, and that should make hopefully a 25, 30-minute video. And I'll do another video later for the rest of the stuff. Oh, everyone knows that Warrant is maybe the band that has gotten the most play on my channel. I've done a couple videos dedicated to Jani Lane. One with my buddy Jones, one on my own, and I've done a Warrant album ranking. Well, this is for the Ultraphobic album from 1995. Came out after, Dog Eat Dog, which, came out in 1992. It went gold and is amazing. But a lot of people haven't given this Ultraphobic album a chance. They should. It is modern for 1995 Warrant. It is grunge influenced, but I think they did grunge so well. And I know that sounds fucked up to say, just check it out. Check out Undertow. Check out the song Ultraphobic. Check out Chameleon. Oh, check out Ride Number 2. And then I have one of the songs from this album, Stronger Now, tattooed on my arm. One of the best ballads ever. And then there's another ballad on this album called High. Oh, check out Stronger Now and High. You won't regret it. Coming up next, Slaughter, Stick It To Ya. Damn, they just, like a lot of bands weren't breaking. There were some that were breaking in 1990, but it was getting hard to. It was almost getting too late in the game, but damn, Stick It To You went double platinum. So many great songs on this thing. Up All Night, Desperately, Mad About You, Burning Bridges. Ballads, Spend My Life, which isn't my favorite song, and Fly to the Angels, rest in peace, Tim Kelly. So, and she's not bad to look at, right? Up next, Second Coming from Shotgun Messiah. Most people, if you listen to Hair Nation, most people know the song Heartbreak Boulevard. Lot of great stuff on this. I love the song Free. And I love the first Shotgun Messiah with Zinny Zan on vocals, and then you get Tim Skold singing on the second one, and there was no drop off. It was still a great album. And then they kind of went industrial after that. But actually, Violent New Breed, the album after this, is actually pretty good as well. Well, we just talked about Warrant. Here is, am I upside down? Here is an ad for Dog Eat Dog. Man, 1992, there were so many great albums. And there were some bands that did go a little bit more modern. This was definitely a darker album, but you could still hear the pop sensibilities. Ultra catchy. Check out Andy Warhol Was Right. Bonfire. Great ballads. This album is all killer, no filler. And speaking of talented musicians, this is for Winger's second album, In the Heart of the Young. Kip Winger, Reb Beach, Rod Morgenstein? I feel bad if I forget somebody's name, but Easy Come, Easy Go, Can't Get Enough, Miles Away were the big hits. I think this thing went double platinum, maybe only platinum, but damn, one of the most talented bands of the genre. And, it sucked what Metallica did to them. It sucked what Beavis and Butthead did to them. They didn't deserve that bullshit, and it pissed me off. Up next, Guns N' Roses from 1987, Appetite for Destruction. Now, you see, here is the censored cover. They put it in a small picture, and then they kind of, we went from that cover to this cover, and it says you can have it both ways, so they were acknowledging that there was a censored cover, and everybody wanted to prove how dangerous Guns N' Roses was, and this thing fucking blew the top off the world. I think it's at 19 times platinum. So you can't deny, and I will say that I think Guns N' Roses' career after this album is kind of disappointing. The Use Your Illusions, I've done a video where I put 14 songs that I thought, because there was so much, I thought there was so much filler on the Illusions. Some people hated that, and sorry, but that's what I think, and I'm always going to be honest. So, Appetite. Up next, LA Guns, Cocked and Loaded. Rip and Tear, Never Enough. And I think The Ballad of Jane is one of the best ballads of the hair metal genre. I love Phil Lewis's voice. And man, they're still out there, you know, kicking out albums. Their latest, Black Diamonds, is really good. So, but this is probably my favorite LA Guns album. So, Cocked and Loaded. Sorry, I haven't looked through these in a long time. So, I love my house now that all this shit is all over the place. Like in the past when I didn't have this stuff, like I never even knew what was on my walls. And now I just look around my house and I go, holy shit, this place is awesome. So I'll probably be single for the rest of my life because any chick that comes in here is going to be like, what the? Okay, not just kidding. So there's some stuff that goes on here every now and then, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, the Scream, Let It Scream. John Corabi on vocals. I love the Motley Crue 1994 album. Great songwriter, great singer. Check out the song Outlaw, my favorite rock song on the album. Check out the ballad Father, Mother, Son. Holy shit, you might cry a little bit. So remember, every rocker has their soft side. Great album, The Scream. Coming up next, the first album that really got me into Aerosmith, because Permanent Vacation came out in '87. And I probably knew like Walk This Way and Sweet Emotion, but I wasn't out buying mid-70s albums. I just knew songs that were on the radio. But this was an album that I probably went out and bought because I was about 14 or 15, starting to go out and get my own music. Dude Looks Like a Lady, Magic Touch, the title track Permanent Vacation. I love the ballad Angel, even though the band fucking hated it. This thing, I think, went 5 or 6 times platinum, and kickstarted their career. They went on, did Pump. Pump, I think, went 6 times platinum. Then you had Get a Grip, which went nuts. So, anyway. Kiss, Hot in the Shade. I like this album. Now, when I look back, it had 15 songs that had a lot of filler. Okay, but this is the first Kiss show that I went to, and it's in here. It's like May 26th in Fargo. I had seen concerts. I had seen REO Speedwagon with Henry Lee Summer and Richard Marx before, but this was the first one that I was like, it was Kiss, Slaughter, Faster Pussycat, and it fucking it changed my life. It blew my mind. I was always really into music, but that concert just made it something different for me. So Rise to It, Hide Your Heart, the ballad Forever, written by Michael Bolton, was a big hit. It went platinum. So now it's not my favorite Kiss album, but this will always have a special place in my heart. Kiss, Hot in the Shade. Man, if you're a hair metal fan, and most hair metal fans have those underground bands that you just wish, had done better. And this is that band for a lot of people. It's Vain with their debut, No Respect. Jeez, what a sleazy fucking looking band. What a sleazy fucking album. No Respect, the title track, is my favorite song. And now I'm going to struggle because now I haven't listened to this for a while. But I love this album. Vain is still putting shit out. So No Respect, one of the unsung hair bands that deserves your attention. Here's a band that, man, had their moment in the sun, and it kind of ended as quickly as it started. Trickster with their debut album, and I was kind of liked that cartoon-like cover, pictures of all the bandmates. What's his name? Is it Steve Brown? Steve Brown has played with Def Leppard. He is still out doing Trickster stuff. He produced the new Ace Frehley album, which I'll kind of hold back my thoughts on that. But anyway, this was a really solid album. A lot of people like the follow-up Here, but it came out in 1992, so obviously it was fucked from the beginning. But this is a really solid pop rock album. Well, we might as well have some more Warrant. I got this from a Meat magazine from Canada. So it's a little different. I do have other Warrant ads framed, but this is for Cherry Pie from 1990. I love this album. I remember reading about the song I Saw Red, and I had a high school girlfriend that just, you know, it broke my heart when it ended, and I heard about this song, and I just remember listening to it in the car when I first got the cassette, and it just broke me. I was just crying. I was like, that song was so sad, and it just made me long for this, when you're young and you have your first love and you think it's going to last forever, and then you realize that, you know what, life is going to kick you in the ass, and it kicked mine more than a few times. But Warrant kind of wrote about that, and so that's when Warrant became my band, on this album and with that song. For Great White, what the fuck? Is this their self-titled? I think it's their self-titled. Had Face the Day on it. Look how early that is. I mean, this is before Once Bitten. Is this their self-titled album? I'm sorry if it's hard for me to read. I think it's their self-titled album. And I love their earlier shit. I love when they weren't as bluesy. They were just straight ahead hard rock. They did a kick-ass cover of The Who's No Substitute. Man, I mean, this is, and I like the later stuff too, but this is really Great White when they're in my wheelhouse. We got some more Dokken for Tooth and Nail from '84. And, you know, they were coming out right with Rats, and man, and you know, with Rat, Quiet Riot, and Twisted Sister, Rat and Dokken both made it about to 1990. Well, Rat made it to 1990, Dokken a little bit earlier. But man, Dokken, what a talented band. And I've seen them live lately, and I don't want to bag on Don Dokken, but it's just been difficult to watch. But man, I loved this band back in the day. Speaking of Great White, for Twice Shy. Man, when the song Once Bitten, Twice Shy came out, holy shit. That's a cover. Ian Hunter, Mott the Hoople. That thing blew up all over radio. And if you know, like, one of my favorite songs is Wasted Rock Ranger, that like country song. Fucking lyrics on that are just hilarious, but great album, went double platinum, and that was kind of the end, you know. The next album I think went 800,000, so Great White. Oh, should I show this one? Okay, I will. Now, I'm not the hugest, I like a fucking couple Nelson songs, but you can't deny they were really, Love and Affection went to #1 on radio. And again, I frame a lot of shit that isn't my favorite just because, you know, maybe it's important, and there's always somebody who likes it. So, Nelson, After the Rain. Okay. With that, I don't know how, that's got to be around 30 some things that I've framed. I have so much more, even right now, that I probably have another 50 here to go through. I'll crank out another video maybe this weekend, but that gives you, this is what I do in my free time. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I quit drinking in 2004, July 4th, 2004, my Independence Day. So my hobby and what I do, you know, music is my life. Everything else is a hobby. So hopefully you enjoyed that. You know, comment, like, let me know what you thought about some of the albums. You know, let me know if, like, hey, dude, this kind of shit's boring. Get back to talking about albums and getting other guys on the channel, you know, because I want to do what you guys like. But I love this kind of stuff. I love showing it off. I love doing the actual framing. I love looking at my house, the House of Hair. So with that, until the next video comes out, my name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. Take care.